Like other IGS audio units we have, the Zen Compressor limiter is built like a tank, it looks beautiful and it feels great when in use. Hi guys and welcome back to RedStone Productions. Today we are reviewing the brand new IGS Audio Zen Compressor limiter. The audio circuit is based on 14 bipolar transistors, while the compression is achieved by 8 hand-matched Zener diodes, biased by a perfect feedback circuit. Like other IGS audio units we have, the Zen Compressor limiter is built like a tank, it looks beautiful and it feels great when in use. Its design is based on the legendary compressor limiters in use at Abbey Road Studios in the 60s to record, among others, the Beatles and Pink Floyd. The IGS Zen is a two-channel dynamic processor that can be used on two different mono sources or on stereo program material. In fact, the link switch allows you to link the sidechain parameters for both channels. Just like you would find on 1176 compressors, there's a fixed threshold point. So in order to get compression going, you need to increase the amount of input while at the same time controlling the output backup gain as in any other compressor. Both the input and output controls ensure the user perfect recallability thanks to the use of 24 steps, ELMA switches. Each channel has its own independent attack and release times. The attack can vary from 5 milliseconds up to 100 milliseconds, while the release can go from 10 milliseconds up to 2 seconds. In order to increase the options for the user, you also have a time-for multiplier that allows you to basically get even longer attack and release times. There are no discrete ratio controls on the unit, but instead, each channel can operate either in comp or limit mode with the flick of a switch. In order to avoid low-end over-triggering your compression, each channel has 4 selectable high-pass filters on the sidechain, set at 60 Hz, 90 Hz, 120 and 240 Hz. A very unique feature of this unit is the ability to color your program material without affecting its dynamic range. In fact, if we switch the high-pass filter into the amp position, it will completely disengage the sidechain of the circuit and turn its input and output knobs into colorful 36 dB line amplifiers. Zener limiters were first introduced by EMI in the late 50s. In fact, in 1955, EMI had recognized the need for a device to stop or limit extreme volume peaks. As a result, the research department at EMI developed a limiter known as the RS-98. However, less than a year later, they had returned with a new and improved design developed in response to the staff praise for the Fairchild limiters some had seen and used at Capitol Records, EMI's sister American label. This new version, the RS-114, was a mono limiter amplifier with a delay line for attack time. The RS-114 was developed by Mike Batchelor, who also designed several other great devices that were used on many Beatles records. In 1956, EMI authorized the construction of 6 of these RS-114 limiters. 1 for each control room, 2 were dedicated to cutting rooms, and 1 for remote recordings. The RS-114 had features that are still very common on modern limiters: input and output levels, attack and recovery time adjustments, and in and out switch. The main problem with the RS-114 was its instability. It was a complex design for the time, using push-pull amplifier stages, valve circuits that required exacting adjustment to create a balance between two opposite sides. Continuing the tradition of EMI limiters started in 1955 with the RS-114 tube limiter and the 1968 RS-168 Zener limiter, the Zener limiters were also part of the 1969 TG12345 console channel and the 1974 TG12413. It is interesting to note that the TG and Zener limiter designs at Abbey Road Studios were originally intended to replace both the Fairchild 660 in limit mode and the Altec 436 comp mode. So when you switch between limit and comp mode on the IGS Zen, you have the option of picking between two classic tones who made histories in studios around the world. Now that we know some background history on this circuit design, it is time to play some examples and have a listen to the unit.
If you hold that power in your hands, you shouldn't be such a selfish man. Just listen to me, I got few words to say. If you hold that power in your hands, you shouldn't be such a selfish man. Just listen to me, I got few words to say.
Like a motherless child. Sometimes you feel like a motherless child.
You got slinky eyes, and I can dig it. You got me hypnotized, and I admit it. Alright. You got slinky eyes, and I can dig it. You got me hypnotized, and I admit it. Alright. You got slinky eyes, and I can dig it. You got me hypnotized, and I admit it. Alright. You got slinky eyes, and I can dig it. You got me hypnotized, and I admit it.
Something we always want to test when we are reviewing analog pieces of gear in our studio is their noise floor. In this case, I can tell you that the IGS Zen is absolutely silent, as we can see on the RME meters. No matter if I engage it or disengage it, there won't be any difference in terms of noise floor. Something else that we also want to test is the total harmonic distortion this circuit is imparting into the signal. So if I'm just outputting some sine wave, let's say 1 kilohertz, as soon as I insert my IGS Zen, I will start seeing some harmonics coming up. If I move my sine wave to 100 Hz, we can clearly see the overtones that this unit is creating. Again, this is one of the main reasons they also included the amp option, so you can color your program material without affecting the dynamic range, without any compression or limiting going on. That's something that, again, any analog piece of gear will impart, but I can tell you that this is a heavy sonic imprint that this machine is attributing to our program material. So something to be extremely aware of, because what you get into the unit, it's not exactly what you would get out of the unit in terms of frequency range and harmonic distortion. In fact, it has a huge character and imparts harmonic distortion to any signal passing through the unit. For this very same reason, I wouldn't use it on any sort of material, but I would handpick what to process with this compressor limiter. I would most likely use it on percussive sounds like kick, snare, or parallel kick-snare subgroups. Or if I have a sterile digital recordings, I could impart some nice analog vibe to it just by passing through the unit on amp mode. It also shines on piano, and it can also be used on the master bus, but very carefully. Zener limiters have a very special character that no other limiters have. To me, the magic is in the harmonics and the way you need to instruct the machine how to compress, by using input and output strategically, much like any other fixed threshold compressor. And of course, the attack and release controls mixed with the sidechain filters make for a very powerful intuitive box. The IGS Zen Compressor limiter sells for 3,000 euros including VAT. The main alternative would be the Chandler Limited Zener limiter selling for 5,400 euros including VAT again. Or the cheaper alternative made by Audioscape, the D-Comp, selling for 1,300 euros. All in all, I'm really impressed with this unit. I never thought I would be able to afford a Zener limiter per se, but now I actually found one that can hold onto my studio as well. I hope you guys enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Till the next time.